The following is a CUNY TV special presentation.
Our scholarship ceremony today is named for a preeminent journalist, the anchor of ABC's World News Tonight, who died in 2005 at the age of 67. He truly valued education and took great pleasure in connecting with the students just like this year's honorees. His extraordinary achievements, his professionalism, his integrity are all lasting inspirations.
Let me start by welcoming you to this event, and it's one of my favorite events for the year. A particular appreciation to Kayce Freed Jennings, who I see every year at this event, and I watch her as she circulates in the morning and connects to all of the students and the winners like no one else, other than her husband, who did exactly the same thing.
From the beginning and every year until he became ill, Peter Jennings served as champion and inspiration and admirer of the achievements of CUNY's high school equivalency graduates at this ceremony, to which he lent his name. When he could no longer be present, his wife Kayce, with the same spirit of generosity and support with us year in and year out, has carried on the tradition. You all have had the reasonable, very reasonable, and simple goal of getting an education and preparing yourselves for the better future that a high school equivalency diploma affords. Yet, for most of you, so many obstacles have stood in your way. Some of you left your homes far away under very difficult circumstances. Many of you have had to work 2 jobs or 3 jobs while being a parent, while taking care of other family members, while first learning English and then learning all the subjects on the test, while wondering from time to time if it's all worth it. Well, it is, and you are nothing short of amazing.
I know today is really special for you guys here in the front row, but I want you to also know how special it is for me, and I suspect for the people I've shared this podium with. And that's because for me, at least, today is about hope. It's about promise. It's about what can be. And it's a day that reminds us of how the impossible can become possible. I know today I'm going to leave this building feeling better about the world and about humanity, and I'm going to be leaving this building more hopeful about my country and more determined than ever to make the most of my good fortune. You see, I don't think I could have done what you guys have done. What you've done is really, really, really hard. And many of you have done it with very limited support. When I was growing up, I never had to face the question about if I would go to school. The only question in my home was where I would go. Both my parents were educated, 3 of my 4 grandparents were educated, and the 4th was doggedly self-educated. I'm wearing her earrings today, my grandmother's. She was the only one in my family who was not able to go to complete school because she had to go to work to support her sister and her sister's education. But the point is that in my home education, I didn't have to think about it. I didn't get to think about it. Education was just like breathing. It was like air. In other words, I was lucky. But you've all had to make an active decision to complete your education. And given what you've all been through and the complexities of your lives and responsibilities, it was often a hard decision, I suspect, and almost unimaginably demanding, that I know. But all of you sitting here today, you made that really hard decision and that demanding decision, and look around you, you're here. Congratulations, all of you. All of you, each and every one of you represents the very best of this country. You embody all the characteristics that make us great when we are great. Tenacity, resilience, doggedness, and heart. You are the ones who will make America great again. And those of you, sorry, I get very emotional with this. And those of you who are immigrants or first generation, no one represents us better than you do. Amen. Thank you. Thank you very much for choosing to come here, for choosing to contribute your talents and your skills and your ambitions to our country, to your country, to this country. We need you, and we want you. And I'm very confident that our country will soon remember that and will become welcoming once again. Most of you never saw my husband Peter at work, and probably never heard of him until you were nominated for this honor. He was an outstanding anchor and journalist, and he was a good man. He was an avid learner who sought out and soaked up knowledge. And as some of you know, he was a high school dropout. Every single one of you has gone farther today than he ever got in his education.
This is the second time in my late adult life that I have been reminded of my inadequacies. I was asked some years ago to give the graduation speech at my daughter's high school. And halfway through the speech, at which I had worked very hard, I suddenly stopped. I looked out at my daughter, even the memory is quite emotional, and I realized that she, and subsequently my son, in graduating from high school, had gone farther in school than I had. And here I am today to realize that you, with your not quite so newly minted GEDs, you have accomplished more than I have.
And if he were here today, he would be humbled as I am. He would be moved by your courage, and he would be awed by your fierce determination. You've all faced adversity, and some of it extreme. But there's another theme that runs through your stories, and that's the drive that's propelled you over the barriers, the dreams that motivate, the conviction that there's a better life and that it's attainable if you work hard enough. These are just a few of the ways your nominators describe you. I mostly am doing this for the others in the audience here. Altruistic, committed, and hardworking, a strong sense of purpose, an intelligent, disciplined, and tenacious spirit, a forceful air of purpose, generous, fearless. And I could go on, and for a couple more minutes I will, because I can, and I have the microphone. I get the privilege of reading the nominating packages, and there's so much about you that I want everyone in this room to know, and you all will hear a lot more when we actually make the presentation. But there's a little something about each recipient that particularly captured my imagination for whatever reasons. So I want to talk a little bit about each of you. Brittany Brown. You're extraordinary. Homeless, living in domestic violence shelter, a single mother with 2 little boys, yet you rejected the victim label and made your way back to school despite the formidable obstacles. It's never too late, you said. You told me that again today. It's never too late. I knew that all those years of being told what I could not do was about to be proven wrong. Yep. It has been. And by the way, Brittany is a beautiful writer. Her essay was just beautifully written. Guadalupe, you too are a beautiful and expressive writer in a second language, or third or fourth, I don't know. You mentioned, and this is the irony, you mentioned language limitations, but they just don't show up in that essay. It's beautifully written. Quite the contrary, in fact. So listen to this. About going back to school, Guadalupe wrote, I have tasted some of the different opportunities knowledge can give, and it's only made me want to learn more. And then this, college is a big box of treasures. I would like to study everything, but I need more than a lifetime to do that. Satya. Your nominator wrote that Satya is a Sanskrit word for truth, and she lives up to the essence of the name. That in itself is wow. But if that weren't enough, also said this, I could literally feel the waves of determined energy vibrating off her from the first day of class. Like a freight train, she was an unstoppable force, gaining speed and power as she accelerated towards her high school equivalency diploma. Or, Satya, as you put it, there was no room for failure. I wasn't going to allow myself to give up on myself ever again in life. Jenaya, learned to pronounce that right this morning. Your nominator said that that she was positive that Peter Jennings would have been proud of you, and me too. I know that for absolute sure. I know he would have admired your fearlessness and how you set your mind towards pushing forward, overcoming the challenges, as you described it, of newness and strangeness, until, and I love this, both work and life began to make sense. Edwin, you said, I made sure those challenges would be eliminated. I was really struck by that because it's such a smart way to think about the obstacles that all of you had to face when deciding to go back to school and then actually going to school. In your case, the demands of fatherhood and a more than full-time job. Obviously, you didn't eliminate either your children or your job, but you found a way to adjust so that you could remain a good father, a breadwinner, and become a student again after 13 years away. Mia, I think you're the definition of determination. Listen to this. You were working, hold on, where am I? Yeah. Okay, so last fall, right, Mia, you went back to school after 20 years away, working, raising a daughter on your own, and you were pregnant. As you described it, there were days I had to pick studying over sleep or train fare over food, but I pushed forward. I guess so. Mia started her program just last fall, and if I have this right, by March, well, she was enrolled at LaGuardia Community College. That is seriously determined. It's awesome. Congratulations. Mimos, we didn't get to meet yet. Hi, nice to meet you. A unicorn is a mythical creature, something amazing and quite simply a rare find. Mimos Noel is like a unicorn. That's what your nominator said, and I can't improve on that, except to quote you writing about your future. I want to become a lawyer because I'm passionate about helping others, especially those who can't help themselves, you wrote. The seriousness of the law has captured my heart, and justice has taken over my soul. When you hear Mimosa's story, you'll understand why this is truly and profoundly meaningful. Sarah prays. First of all, I just love that name. I think that's just a great name. Like Mimos, you got your diploma in the blink of an eye. 6 months, I think. Do I have that right? 3? My math is bad. That's why it's lucky I didn't have to take it in college. I was struck in your essay by 2 contrasting images. The first is when you describe your early years in Nigeria. It's like the story of Cinderella, except you're referring to the part before the fairy godmother arrives. Brutal beatings, endless chores, 4 a.m. wake-ups, etc. The second image is when you wrote about visiting New York and mentioning to a friend that you'd seen snow only on TV. And your friend suggested you stay on to experience winter, which you did. And I know this is only in my head, but I have this image that I've concocted. It's sort of like you in a snow globe in Times Square looking up at the sky with the snow magically falling. I'm sure it's nothing like that, but that's the image I have in my head, and I like it. Afterwards, you'll tell me what really happened when you first saw snow. The point is, though, that moment led to so much else, including that moment of kismet when you were riding in a subway car and you saw a sign advertising Borough of Manhattan Community College. It said, "Start here and go anywhere." Tsukino, I think you're our youngest Laurel recipient here today, if I'm not mistaken. And you've been through so much already and have been forced to be independent so fast. So it's not surprising that your nominator calls you wise beyond your years. I want everyone to hear the last lines of Tsukino's essay. Paraphrasing or inspired by Marie Curie wrote, "I believe I'm gifted to become a surgeon, and despite the many obstacles I face, I will not stop until this thing is attained." And then you go on to add, "I will attain this thing. I will become an oncologist. I will help someone else avoid the pain I experienced when I lost 2 loved ones to cancer. I will make a difference." I'm sure she will. I have no doubt. Chiffon, you asked yourself in your essay, who was I fooling? Because you wrote, you were paralyzed by fear and intimidated by my own children's homework. Well, since you've received your medical assistant certificate and are headed for college in the fall, I would say the only person you may have fooled is yourself. And I guess you know that now. Despite the hurdles, despite the setbacks, there's no doubt that you've done what you set out to do, which is to make your children proud. Waleed, you said after the car accident that left you in a wheelchair that you wanted to give up. Well, that you're here is a testament to not giving up. Your course load at BCC is a testament to not giving up. Microeconomics, English composition, the history of scientific revolution, math, and freshman seminars. That's not giving up. And your interest in computers and technology, that's not giving up either. Actually, I think that's looking to a very, very bright future. Tenzing, you share something really super special with Peter, an immigrant's love for the U.S. Constitution. He carried one in the back pocket of his pants always. There was also one in his briefcase, on his desk, in his bedside table, pretty much everywhere, and I still literally find them around the house. I'll open a box and a Constitution flies out. You say about your ambition to become a doctor that although that vision seems far-fetched, with each little step I take, that dream becomes less ephemeral. That's powerfully moving to me, as is your commitment to protect the liberties that are enshrined in the Constitution. You don't take them for granted, as I suspect many of us born here do. So thank you for reminding us about them. Congratulations to all of you. When we hand out the certificates, there are also a couple of small gifts that I'm going to leave each of you with this morning. One's a copy of the oral biography about my husband. I think when you read it, you're going to see a little bit of yourselves in him. He would certainly hope to see a bit of himself in you. And also I'm going to give you a DVD of Girl Rising, the film that's at the center of the global campaign for girls' education that I help run. It tells the stories of girls growing up in the developing world who confront the barriers to their education: child marriage, natural disaster, profound poverty, gender violence, etc. But like you, in most cases, they prevail. And I know you'll see some of yourselves in them. Like Soka. Soka is from Cambodia. She was orphaned and left to scavenge for survival in the garbage dump in Phnom Penh. She's now a sophomore in college in Chicago. Another one of those girls is Suma, who's from Nepal. She was a Kamlari, or a slave, for 6 years when she was a child, until she was liberated at age 12, and she was finally then able to go to school. Education, she told us, made her feel as though I have power, she said. I feel I can do anything, and I have important things to do. So as you all stride forward into this new world of opportunity that you've created for yourselves, know that you too have power, and know that you too can do anything, and that you too have important things to do. Thank you very much for allowing me to be part of your day today.
Thank you so much, Kayce, for those beautiful words. So now we come to the heart of today's ceremony, the acknowledgement of the Peter Jennings Laurel Scholarship Award winners. So it's my pleasure to be joining Kayce in the awarding of the scholarship certificates. And joining us is Luz Bueno in what we hope will be the beginning of a new tradition at the Peter Jennings Laurel Award Scholarship ceremony. Luz was last year's student speaker, and she's back this year to support this new group of scholarship winners and participate in the awarding of their scholarships. So here we go. When Brittany Brown enrolled in the HSE program at City College, she was full of doubts. She was living in a shelter with her young sons, having left a difficult relationship of 10 years. Intimidated as she was by being in a classroom with adults as young as 18 and as wise as 67, as she put it, Brittany also felt safety and hope. I married self-doubt, she wrote in her essay. But I've always preferred survivor to victim, and part of surviving for me was passing this exam. Guadalupe Cuenca was born in Oaxaca, Mexico, one of 7 children. She had to leave school in the 8th grade. She married young and had 3 boys. After immigrating to the U.S., she made sure that her sons graduated from high school, and 4 years ago, as her 2 older sons were graduating, Guadalupe gathered her courage and enrolled in an ESL class at the College of Staten Island's Adult Learning Center. She began with the goal of speaking English fluently and found herself learning social studies, math, science, and how to use a computer. Now that she has passed all sections of the task and she's been accepted to the College of Staten Island, she can't decide what to major in because she wants to study everything. Please welcome Guadalupe. Jenaya Larkins grew up in New York, and she dropped out of high school and quickly regretted it. By the time she enrolled in HSE classes at Medgar Evers College Adult Learning Center, she was really worried. She had heard that getting an HSE diploma was harder than graduating from high school, and as she put it, the thought started to plague me. So according to her teacher, Jenaya sat in the front of the room showing strong academic potential from the start. She excelled at math and science, and when she took the test, Jenaya passed with a score of 3049, a very high score. So Edwin Lopez grew up in the Bronx. His mother worked long hours to support her 3 children, and Edwin got used to fending for himself. As a teenager, like many of his peers, he lost interest in school and dropped out, or as Edwin put it, I lost track of my priorities and decided that I would place financial obligations over educational opportunities. Working entry-level jobs, he soon discovered 2 things: that he loved business and that he wanted to make it his career, and that he needed a diploma to do that. Edwin, please join us. Mia Neisser had to drop out of her New York City high school to support herself, but she always planned to return and finish her studies. She got used to working long hours and have little free time and wondered if she would ever find a way to go back to school. As you heard from Kayce, there were days, Mia says, when I was downright exhausted, but I pushed forward. After passing the task exam, Mia applied to LaGuardia Community College, where she passed her skills tests and matriculated. In her own words, my dreams were starting to become more vivid and clear. Hooray! Her goal now is to enjoy her time at LaGuardia, to earn her associate degree in civil engineering, and then go on for a master's degree in civil engineering with a specialization in structural engineering. And I have a job for you. One step closer to becoming a successful engineer and architect, a career I love and can use to give back to this world and create a better future, is such an incredible feeling. It makes every second I am apart from my children while on this journey a little bit easier to deal with. Congratulations. Mimosa Noel was born in a holding cell in the Bahamas to a mother who was fleeing poverty in Haiti. 4 years later, she was on a small fishing boat headed for the Florida coast. She and her mother were rescued by the Coast Guard, but she lost her father, whose boat capsized. At 19, she became a mother herself. When her husband lost his job, the family moved into a homeless shelter. While living in the shelter, Mimosa attended the HSE classes at York College's Adult Learning Center. After passing the task, she applied to York College, where she will begin her studies this fall. Mimosa plans to study the law. In her own words, the legal system can be quite treacherous for those who aren't familiar with its rules and regulations. The ability to right wrongs and speak for those who otherwise have no voices are values any humanitarian and righteous citizen should embody. Amen. Please join us, Mimosa. Sarah Praise Oki grew up in Nigeria. She speaks English, Yoruba, conversational French, and Hausa. When Sarah Praise lost her mother at 17, she had to leave school. It was the norm for young girls to get married off, she wrote, but no, I wanted more. Sarah Praise went to Lagos and found a job as a ticket agent for an airline. She worked hard and was often chosen as the best employee. After a few years, she was promoted and given that famous trip to New York as a reward, and an ad on the subway for BMCC led her to enroll in an HSE class at BMCC's Adult Learning Center. After earning her diploma, Sarah Praise immediately applied to BMCC, where this fall she will be a full-time student. She hopes to study biomedical engineering after earning her associate degree and eventually becoming a doctor. Please join us. Tsukino Roberts grew up in Kingston, Jamaica, in what she calls the wrong part of town. Despite the poverty and violence around her, Tsukino's mother made sure that Tsukino had opportunities to excel. She got high grades and won many awards. Tsukino has a vivid memory of reading a children's book about how clouds are formed and falling in love with science, and she still has that book, which is wonderful. In her senior year of high school, her brother was killed by gang members who continued to harass the family. Her mother thought it was best that Tsukino leave the country and come to New York. When she arrived at York's high school equivalency program, her teacher immediately recognized her ability and passion for math and science. Tsukino passed the task with a high score, and this fall she will begin her studies at Medgar Evers College. She plans to take pre-med courses. Having recently lost 2 close family members, as you heard, to cancer, she hopes to study surgical oncology. In her own words, helping people to beat the odds will bring me great joy and a sense of accomplishment. Please welcome Tsukino. Chiffon Robinson grew up in Belize. After years of working and raising her children in New York and helping her family back home in Belize, she decided it was time to get her diploma when her oldest daughter said, "Mommy, you've taken care of everyone but yourself. It's time for you to take care of you." When she enrolled in the HSE program at Hostos Community College's Adult Learning Center, Chiffon was nervous. Just the thought, she said, of sharing my educational struggles with classmates half my age was terrifying. But she saw other mature students in the class and she began to calm down. On her second try, passed the test. I can honestly say, Chiffon wrote, it was one of my proudest moments. After completing a 6-month training to become a clinical medical assistant in pediatrics, Chiffon will begin her studies at Hostos Community College this fall. She plans to become a registered nurse specializing in pediatrics. Please welcome Chiffon. So Walid Saleh was born in Yemen and spent his teenage years going back and forth between Yemen and New York. After finishing the 10th grade in Yemen, he worked as a cashier in his brother-in-law's store in the Bronx. At 25, he was in a car accident that injured his spinal cord and left him paralyzed. In a strange way, Walid says, the accident helped motivate me to come back to school and the possibility to be able to get the type of job I always wanted. At Lehman College's Adult Learning Center, Walid impressed his teachers and classmates with his optimistic attitude, sense of humor, and a clear sense of purpose. His delight and gratitude and commitment, as one teacher wrote. After passing the task, Walid spent a semester in the CUNY START program at Hostos Community College, and he has just completed his first semester at Bronx Community College, where he studied English composition, the history of the scientific revolution, math, microeconomics, and freshman seminar. Busy semester. He plans to major in computer science and is fascinated by technological innovations. In his own words, I have benefited so much from how the technology of wheelchairs has improved over just the last decade. I'm excited to see other ways that technology will make our lives better in the future. Congratulations, Walid. Tenzing Taman grew up in Nepal, where his Tibetan family faced threats and discrimination. When Tenzing was in the 11th grade, the family was granted asylum in the United States. Shortly after arriving here, his father died, leaving Tenzing to care for his mother without a high school diploma. At the Adult Learning Center at New York City College of Technology, Tenzing made a lasting impression on his teachers and fellow students, who admired his dedication to his studies, as well as his humble and diplomatic way of discussing and disagreeing with them. Tenzing passed the task after one cycle, and he is now a student at Brooklyn College with a 4.0 GPA average. Tenzing plans to major in biology and continue to medical school. He wants to be a doctor in the U.S. military. He says, I am especially aware of the gravity of the rights afforded to the residents of America. In completing my goals, I would be able to support my mother financially and preserve the ideas that protected me and continue to protect many individuals like me. At the end of my path, I hope to earn a voice that carries weight and to make a difference in the lives of other people. Congratulations, Tenzing. Satya Garcia. Satya prepared for her high school equivalency diploma and was advised and encouraged at the Brooklyn College Adult Literacy Program. So Satya grew up in New York As a child, she loved and excelled in school, but her family circumstances forced her to drop out in the 12th grade, and she started working to support herself. She became a confident and capable employee, but she was always careful to hide the fact that she had no high school diploma. The years rolled on, Satya wrote in her essay, but my shame and guilt about dropping out of high school never left me. I decided at the age of 35 that enough was enough. She enrolled in the HSE classes at Brooklyn College, where she was focused, serious, and unstoppable. When she received her diploma last January, Satya enrolled at BMCC, where she has just finished her first semester, and she plans on becoming a nurse practitioner. So please welcome Satya to give us some remarks. And so our program comes to a conclusion. I want to thank all of you for joining us, for your enthusiasm, and special thanks to all of our award recipients, wonderful speakers, and runner-ups. Thank you all for everything you do every day to make the city and country better.